Hello everyone, this will be my last teaching memo. I'm looking forward to the upcoming holidays. I get to see all my children and grandchildren, which is the best, capital B-E-S-T, present one could have. Dr. Laura and I spent Christmas at one of our favorite Dutchess County restaurants, just the two of us, and look at lights, and then we cuddle on the couch to watch It's a Wonderful Life. It's been our tradition since we've been hooked up together. I hope the holidays find you all healthy and happy. This weekend we had both our granddaughter Elena and Laura's daughter Sophie with us. We attended a holiday parade and fireworks in the city of Poughkeepsie, and the two girls decorated our candy tree, attempting to hide candy canes from Dr. Tom, or Papa Tom as they call me. I have two pictures which I've put on the title page. There they are. There we are at the parade, and there is Elena and Sophie decorating our candy cane tree. Notice the elf who was stuck in there. Those are his hands and those are his feet. Good stuff. So happy holidays from Dr. Tom and Dr. Laura. Hope everyone has a great few days off and get to hang out with your loved ones. Some housekeeping. The course ends on Thursday, December 14th. I will be closing my grade book the following Friday, December 22nd. If you are planning to take an incomplete, and I'm hoping no one is, because one of the things we're trying to do this semester is to minimize and or eliminate the number of people taking incompletes. You must have completed at least 75% of the coursework. Please contact me by email or phone if this is the course of action you are contemplating. I've closed the last discussion board and thought there was some good and great discussion about the differences between Mr. Jones, that's Marissa, and Miss W. and Emily. This formative assessment / grading discussion is very crucial to all current and prospective teachers. For your information, I've placed a handout in session 11, and I'll show you where that is. Right here, there's a handout in session 11, 25 quick formative assessments. If you click on that, it will take you to a, I will fix that so you have those 25 quick formative assessments in that link. I have them on my own personal Google Docs link, so I will change that for you. I'm glad I checked that. If you are new to the process of formative assessments, or not even new, those ideas will help you out immensely. So check it out once I fix it. You need to check your grades and make sure all your assignments have been handed in. For those of you who owe me a good deal of work, you will be hearing from me via email. I will be, hey, get going. I am mandated to have my grades submitted in 10 days after the course ends. So if you foresee a problem with that and need to take an incomplete, you must contact me ASAP. But I'm hoping no one takes an incomplete. Also, as you have no doubt from several emails, you need to fill out a course evaluation. I have placed a link to it in the last 3 assignments, and I will show you where it is. And there it is, right at the top of the page. This is session 12. Session 12. So it's in 11 and 10 as well. So click on that, and please, please, please do that. I'm going to mention it again later on. Please add comments, and for your information, this is how you spell bombdiggity. BOMBDIGGETY. If you are looking for an appropriate adjective to describe my course. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about session 11. Many of you mentioned Marissa, as I knew you would, because there are many teachers like Mr. Jones in the teaching profession, even at Turo, I understand. Several have mentioned it always amazes me that professors are training teaching candidates and they do not model good assessment practices. I use this piece to activate your conversation about assessment for learning practices and have you go deeper than just comment on how bad Mr. Jones was or how you have had teachers or professors like him. Several of you mentioned knowing a teacher like Mr. Jones without mentioning what he could have done or should have done. This was not my intention, and that's why I shared the Emily video, so you could make a comparison between what Mr. Jones did and what Ms. W did. In my 640-20 section, Christina mentioned that she modeled a recent lesson on the 3 questions that students need to be able to answer during instruction. 1, where am I going? And that's formative, or where am I going? That's learning targets. Where am I now? That's formative assessment. And how can I close the gap? That's practice and feedback. Make these 3 questions be your guide in your lesson planning and during your learning activities. Grading is always one of my favorite topics, and the giving of 0 seems to evoke an evil smile on the faces of many veteran teachers or even younger ones. I want to give a shout out to Joe in my 640-21 section, who used to give 0s for missing assignments but intuitively felt it was wrong. Now he plans not to do it. So, message to all of you, like Joe, pay it forward. Also, the acceptance of late work and allowing students to do work over was mentioned often. I like the references many of you made to Rick Mormelli, his article and his videos. The last one I placed in this session's course materials. That's the only thing I believe, in course materials for session 12. But Mormelli and Reeves, his video about toxic grading practice, argued about averaging students' various attempts and do-overs. A lot of people will allow do-overs, but then they'll deduct points or they'll average the 2, which to me doesn't make sense. If somebody does it over and demonstrates mastery, then they should get the grade that goes with mastery. It seems easy when we put it that way. I'm also sharing an article, and I'll click on that right now just so you can get a look at it. Saxton, 2016, this is a very good article about want to know what's wrong with averages. So again, there's other documentation about why we shouldn't be averaging grades. And as you know, and I mentioned it recently, that I don't average grades. Your quiz grades I do, but your discussion boards, I've weighted the first ones very little and the last ones the most. So if you didn't do the last one, shame on you. And the same with the 2 double entry journals. The first one is weighted much less than the second one. I think one is 5% and the second one is 15%. So I would recommend increasing weights as attempts grow more frequent. Now, naturally, this is with activities where students are allowed to improve. Doing quizzes. All my quizzes are different, so it's not something that you can improve by feedback. Although I have given feedback and recommending that you do the hard copy first, then discuss it, then do the first attempt, then discuss the ones you got wrong, and then do the third attempt. But not many people took advantage of that. You just did it over again. And most of you got 100, so which tells me my quizzes are out floating around and I probably need to change them. So I will do that this semester. Often we don't see the power of allowing our students to do work over, but several of you mentioned you appreciated my practice of allowing do-overs. Just think how you feel when you know an assessment is not do or die, and that if you miss something or make a mistake, you can go back and fix it. Just like in a real job. For those of you who may be interested in my 640-20 section, Alex mentioned that her school uses an intergrade buddy system. Many of you talked about, how we don't have the time for kids to come after school. They have to be bused home, so there's no after school sessions. But in her school, they have a buddy system where they're partnered with an older student, and they meet for 2 periods once a week. So that's scheduled. So that's something, instead of saying we can't do it, get in a discussion with the rest of your teachers or with your administration at a faculty meeting. Can we create a do-over time or a peer teaching time where students can go to get help from a peer buddy? So they're allowed to do unfinished assignments, and no points were deducted for handing it in late. Good stuff, and thanks, Alex. Finally, if there's anything you need to take away from this course, anything at all, the one thing you should take away, it's the power of formative assessment. Carrie mentioned the Black and Willem study that suggested that there is not a more effective intervention one can use in the classroom to increase achievement than formative assessment. As Popham writes at the end of chapter 22, at the end of chapter 12, there are not 22 chapters in Popham, quote, what does formative assessment have to do with teaching? Everything. I'll be back with my session 11, session 12, no, that was my session 11. I'll be back with my assignment and winding up video.